Earlier we were talking about the turn signal and the camber, the trailer, and loading things just a little bit heavier towards the back. I chose to put 24,000 on the front and 24,000 on the back, making it even. What I did do was my 24,000 is at the turn signal forward. My rear 24,000 is 2 feet behind of center, which will give it a percentage towards the back of the trailer. Will help me from staying overweight on my steers. Also, my trailer's camber, like we talked about earlier, it drops off in the back quite a bit more than other trailers. So if you look at the steel, it's level, if not pitching just a little bit forward. This is the way it's going to ride its best. When this bulkhead is installed, when I get to where I'm going, if the steel does move anywhere, it's going to telescope tight against the bulkhead. That's why it's important for the bulkhead to be installed tight. We'll do that in a minute. The front here, I chose not to put any extra boards underneath to get a rise in the back or the front. It's fairly level. If anything, it can't be seen with the curtain on, but if anything, it pitches forward already on its own. So that's why I just went with level boards on my front set. At this point, we're going to install the front bulkhead on each set of steel. This is the one that we talked about when I was down below. That's going to, if anything, telescope towards it or vibrate towards it in transit, making the bundles even tighter. That's why it was extremely important to load that perpendicular line with your bundles of steel. Some of these bundles in here, those pieces that we moved before, will actually vibrate and come up tight against this board. But we got to get this board nice and tight. So by doing that, you start off with your chain on both sides and you go underneath at about the 3rd mark again, like we were before with our freestanding bulkhead. I usually go a foot to 2 feet behind what we're bulkhead that we're working with. You want to make sure that both sides of your bulkhead are even distance from the side and as far middle here as possible. I prefer to use a chain binder style system. You can use a ratchet on this. This really does the same thing. But as you pull this together, you might have to do this once or twice because it will snug against, it'll snug backwards against the steel. Also a good idea is have an old piece of strap or padding and put it right here underneath the chain that's touching your cold drawn. Okay, now that that's installed, that's a good example of what it's going to look like when you hit the brakes on the other side. The steel's going to vibrate, come up tight against this board. It's protected with steel on both sides. It's not necessarily, it's not for DOT, but it is required by Eaton Steel. Okay, looks like I'm about ready to go here. I got enough straps on for the requirement. Bulkheads properly in place and tight on the front. My bulkhead out on the back. Straps are all down and tight. I'm going to take a look at a strap like this. I don't know if you can notice there's sewing or webbing in this strap. If any bit of an aggregate of 3/4 of an inch is distorted in this, the strap is no good. It's an out of service violation and a hefty fine. Throughout the whole 30-foot strap, if there's a tear in the edges of a 1/2 inch here and a 1/4 inch here, the strap is illegal. Your securement is only as good as your straps. So let that be your guide. You don't want to see a big hefty fine and an out of service get in your way.
One final reminder, do not forget to check your cargo securement within 50 miles, again for every 150 miles or 3 hours of travel. Have a safe trip.